You have a job. Maybe you like it. Maybe you don't. Either way, you spend roughly 8 hours a day doing it, plus the commute, the emails after hours, the Sunday anxiety about Monday. Ancient humans didn't do that. For most of human history, about 300,000 years, the average person spent around 3 to 5 hours getting food. Then they stopped, not because they were lazy, because they were done. There was nothing left to do. And then agriculture was invented, and everything got worse. Here's what a typical day looked like for a hunter-gatherer. You wake up, no alarm. You eat whatever was left from yesterday. Then, at some point in the morning, you go find food. You hunt or you gather roots and berries and plants. You know exactly where to look because you've lived here your whole life, and so did your parents. By early afternoon, you're back. Food secured, done. The rest of the day is yours. You sleep, you talk, you play with your kids, you fix your tools, you do nothing. Completely guilt-free, nothing. Anthropologist Richard Lee studied the Yuhuansi people of the Kalahari in the 1960s, one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer groups on Earth. He found that adults spent between 12 and 19 hours per week on actual food acquisition. That's roughly 2.5 days of work per week. The hardest working person in the entire camp, a man who went out hunting 16 out of 28 days, never exceeded 32 hours in a single week. Now here's what happened when farming arrived, around 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, modern-day Iraq and Syria. Suddenly, food didn't just exist in the world around you. You had to create it. You had to clear land, plant seeds, water crops, protect them from animals, harvest them at exactly the right time, or lose everything, store them, process them, and then do it all again next season. A 2019 Cambridge University study tracked the Agda people of the Philippines, a group where some communities still hunt and gather, while others have switched to farming. The ones who switched to farming work 10 hours more per week than their hunter-gatherer neighbors. Every single week. And here's the part nobody told you in school. The earliest farmers actually produced fewer calories per hour of work than foragers, not more. Farming didn't make food easier to get. It made it harder, but more predictable. You traded freedom for security, and you got less of both, at least at first. You can see it in the bones. Early farming communities show worse health, worse teeth, shorter stature, poorer nutrition, all within a few generations of switching from hunting and gathering. So why did anyone do it? The honest answer is, they didn't choose it. Not exactly. Population density went up. More people meant more hunters chasing fewer animals. The land that used to feed a small group couldn't feed a larger one. Farming wasn't an upgrade. It was a survival response to running out of options. And once you started farming, you couldn't go back. Because farming lets you feed more people per square kilometer than foraging does. More people meant more farmers, meant more land. Cleared meant fewer places left to forage. The trap closed behind you. Within a few thousand years, most of humanity was locked into a system that required more work, produced worse food, and left almost no free time. And that system has basically never stopped expanding. The agricultural revolution became the industrial revolution. And the industrial revolution gave us the 40-hour work week, which was actually considered a victory at the time. Before labor reforms in the early 1900s, factory workers in Britain and America were working 60 to 80 hours a week, 12-hour days, 6 days a week, including children. The 8-hour day was the protest. The demand, the thing people fought and died for. Your ancient ancestor worked 3 to 5 hours a day and considered that normal. You work 8 hours a day and call that progress. The Agda hunter-gatherers in the Philippines, the ones who haven't switched to farming, average about 30 hours of leisure time per day during daylight hours. That's time spent resting, socializing, playing, doing whatever they want. They don't have a word for the Sunday feeling because for 300,000 years there was no Monday to dread.